Katie Dippold, who wrote the movie with I and myself, when we first sat down, we basically said, if we didn't make this movie and somebody else did, and we went to watch it, what would we be bummed if it wasn't in the movie? And it was very first the Ecto one, and the proton packs and the slime and Slimer and the logo.
That slime.
Yes.
Ooh, that slime.
It's her favorite, exactly. The ladies loved the slime. They thought they were going to love the slime. Everybody's like, when do we get slime? We can't wait.
We were super excited to get slimed, and we're like, it's happening! And then when it was happening, we're like, oh, dear God, it's happening! And you can't, fun fact, Paul stayed like this the whole time in a handsome suit.
Far away.
You can't wash it off? Yeah. That's what we said. We're like, when you try to do it with water, it reactivates and doubles. And you start to feel crazy because you're like, I'm washing it, and yet there's more. And you have to take it off with dry towels, and then it's still, when you hit it with water, it doubles again. So it's a couple days to get that off. Sorry. Just needed to get that in there.
Honestly, again, since we were doing a reboot and a new origin story, we realized, oh, let's have fun with showing where these things came from. Because in the original one, they sort of just had the proton packs already. And for us, it was fun, let's see how they develop. It starts as a big 70-pound cart on wheels that they have to roll around. And then as they go along, they figure out how to miniaturize it all. And so it was fun to do that kind of thing. Or where did the logo come from? And you see in the movie, we actually show how that happened. And even the Ecto one, turns out it's, Leslie's uncle owns a funeral home. And so you get a hearse.
I love that you actually see the origin of where all these things come from. It's if, for people who love the originals like myself and all of us that made it, or for people that's it was 32 years ago, there's a massive amount of people that are going to see this for the first time. And I think it just works so well for both.
This movie was made by people who love the original movie. We are such fanatics. I was there opening night of opening weekend when I was in film school. Nothing cynical went into this film. It was really the feeling we got watching that first movie, the fun that it delivered to an audience, the laughs that it delivered to an audience was so fantastic. That's the only reason I make movies. That's the only reason Melissa makes movies. We only want to entertain an audience. We want people to have an hour and a half, 2 hours of absolute fun, joy, escapist fun. And really there's no other agenda with this movie other than to make people laugh and make them have a great time. I love working with funny women and realized when I was going to make this movie, why did the original movie work so well? It worked because of that cast and those 4 Ghostbusters who were at the time the funniest people working. And all I said was, I need to create that chemistry here. I know the funniest women on the planet. I'm going to put them in this movie. And that was really the only agenda I had, to make people laugh that way. Putting this movie together, to have 4 people, you want to make sure you have 4 different comedic energies, and yet in service of the same type of comedy. And what I love about Melissa's style of comedy, first of all, Melissa can kind of do anything. So honestly, we've done movies where she's the brash.
Has to say that. I'm sitting right here.
Exactly. But if you think about it, look at our movies together. She's played brash, in your face, like in The Heat, that kind of person in Bridesmaids. But then in Spy, it was fun to have her be this meek person who comes out of her shell. And in this, it was let's make her the leader of the pack. She's the unapologetic, proud geek who goes out and believes in this thing and is not going to take no for an answer. And then with Kristen, I wanted to have, she's playing the character who believed and was best friends with Melissa's character, but then just got tired of being called crazy because she had an experience as a kid where she saw a ghost in a room every night for a year. Nobody believed her. They put her in therapy. They all called her Ghost Girl at school. So they thought she was crazy, and it just wore her down. So she left to become a real scientist, whereas Melissa's character stayed the course. And then when Kristen comes back under for a different reason, and they see a ghost together, then they are unified. But it was just fun to have that, the firm believer, the one who wavered, but they're both friends and they're both strong, smart women. That was really fun.
what Paul does so well. I think he assembles a cast that always seems to work, and it's always out of the box. He doesn't do that thing of, you're this type, you're that type. He is always taking people that most people say, well, they can't do that. That's not what they do. And it's like, those are imaginary boundaries, and Paul doesn't even kind of seem to pay any attention to them delightfully. And all four of us women we have such different energies and different styles, but the real trick is that Paul knows that when we come together, they all work so well together, and that's the true magic that you hope for.